No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. Low, we fly that flow. Grab that gap. No time to nap. No time to nap. Hit that roll. Funk and control. Bounce that wall. We fly it all. We fly it all. Funky and free, we fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoops got rhythm, my sticks got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that splitter over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all.
What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Sunday Q&A. That was some flying with the Meteor75 O4, which has been moved over into a smaller Meteor75 Pro O4, I should say, which I've moved over to the smaller frame, the Air 75 V2 frame, and I swapped the motors out to Gep RC 1002 25,000s, which really brought this thing alive. It's fine the way that it comes. The 1102 22,000s are really good in the Meteor 75 Pro frame, but this setup is quite a bit lighter, and it actually has better power to weight ratio. You got to do a little bit of tuning. The tune that the Meteor 75 04 comes with doesn't work quite right on this, but yeah, DIY hobby. Go down the rabbit hole, friends. The indoor flight was with the custom-built 04 Lite RC drift car chasing setup. Ow! My shoulder just exploded. So yeah, there's that, which is fun. Coming up on a live stream whenever I can get my hands on the new Betaflight lava batteries. Newbie Drone... Carl from Newbie Drone messaged me and said, yo, it wasn't Carl. I forget who it was from Newbie Drone, but they said, yo, it was Kelvin. I think it was Kelvin. Do you want to compare the NX69 batteries to the new Betaflight lava batteries? And I said, absolutely. So Newbie Drone sent me over a fresh set of the NX69 300s. One of these is going to go into the giveaways. Actually, both of these might go into the giveaways because I've only cycled my NX69 batteries a couple times. Nah, we'll do totally fresh, absolutely fresh batteries. So one of these is going into the giveaways. Shout out to Newbie Drone for continuing to support me. And then the other one, yeah, whenever I can get my hands on some of the new Betaflight batteries, we will compare them. This will be an interesting comparison. It'll be this battery, but it'll also be the NX69 connector and the the thicker gauge wire. Newbie Drone went with 20 gauge instead of 22 gauge, I believe. They went with one thicker. They went with 1 gauge thicker wire on their NX69 connector. Adds a little bit of weight, but yeah, we'll see how that is compared to regular old BT 2.0. And yeah, so to keep the testing fair, yes, I did it. Okay, so to keep the testing fair, it's going to be Hummingbird V4 versus a 2G4 build that I'm going to do. And we're going to get that build started here today with a bench clearing brawl. I said, hey, can you send me over an extra set of the Hummingbird 0702 30,000s that are on the... Ah! Oh! 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 Owie. Oh! I sneezed so hard I pulled something. Ah! Yo, those shots, that flu shot and that COVID booster shot, they have messed me up. I feel awful. I've never gotten a flu shot before because of this. I would rather like chance maybe. I don't usually get the flu, and I would kind of like maybe rather chance getting the flu than just feeling like ass for weeks. But I just do what I'm told at this point. Somebody says like, hey, we're getting the flu shot. And I'm just like, okay, just tell me where to be and I'll be there. I don't think I'm going to do this again. This is a bit much. You got to try everything once, right? So there's that. So we're going to be doing a SmackDown test. Batteries. Hummingbird V4 versus a 2G4 build. The Hummingbird V4 is going to be on the NX69. I've already got this set up. It's on those. It's on these motors, the Hummingbird 0702 30,000 kV motors. Today we're going to piece together. We're going to tear some stuff apart, and then we're going to put it back together, and we're going to do a 2G4 build with these motors that I'm hoping will weigh exactly the same as this thing. And so whenever I can get my hands on some of the Lava version 2 batteries, yeah, we'll compare them, this build versus the build that we're going to put together. The way that we're going to piece this thing together is I've got 2 of these analog drift chasing setups. I don't think I want 2 of them anymore. I think I'm going to pull these apart and just have one. This one here has a Runcam Nano camera, which just doesn't look nearly as good as the CO3 camera. And so I'm going to pull this one apart, and we'll use this frame. I'll throw a old school Mobula6 canopy at this. I realized the other day I sent out my only... I thought that I had 2 of these, but this this build here used to be my other Freestyle 2G4 Ultimate build, and I moved it over into this setup when I was all hot and heavy chasing the RC drift cars all the time. I'm not chasing them around all that much anymore, and I'm not really doing it with analog anymore, so might as well pull these apart. Also, like, I want to, you know, when I'm chasing the RC drift cars, the O4 light just looks unbelievably good. And then I do have the HD0 build somewhere. There's an HD0 smoke crotch build around here somewhere. Here it is. So I've got the HD0 chasing rig, which is the only time that I actually use HD0. So that's kind of interesting. Where was I going with this? Whatever. I have enough builds to chase the RC drift cars down. I don't need 2 analog setups. So pull these apart, just have one, away we go. And yeah, in the process, I'm going to take these motors and swap the motor plugs over because they come with the little tiny motor plugs that are newbie drone specific. So we'll do that today. So you'll get some soldering advice today. We'll talk about different setups, props, and motors that match, why I love this specific setup here. And yeah, we'll have a good old time. We'll have a goddamn blast today. Maybe we'll pull... Yeah, so these are both going to get pulled apart. I'm going to use the AIO from this one. Or am I? We'll figure that out as I'm doing it. Yeah. There you go. In the chat, Bad at Drones was first. Eco was next. FizzPV, Tamava, CiottiFPV, B-Bird, Uriel, Cole, Flegadelic, Frank Nicholas, The Bruce, Newborn, Bad at Drones again, Uriel again, Chris S, P Money, Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper, Cole again, Uriel again, Latrank, Ito, Maxim, Mupshot, B-Bird, Uke, P Money, Benny Bravo, Phil Bradley, Meyer. What's up, everybody? If you want to talk to me in the chat, type CiottiFPV. Sorry, type at CiottiFPV, and it'll tag me. Bad at Drone says, evening all, spent the day putting up Christmas decorations and putting my CiottiFPV learned soldering skills to the test, fixing solar lights. Very cool. Love that. Yeah, I've done a little bit of Christmas stuff in here as well. Not very much, but a little bit. Little by little. Apache Smoke says, yo. Cole says, your shoulder did not explode. I know what it looks like, and that's not it. Ito says, CiottiFPV made me order these 1002 25,000. Yeah, you'll love them. I'm sold. Ordered it yesterday, but want to fly analog on it. What's your take for 40mm or 45mm with these? Leaning towards 40, as already have the frames. Yeah, you'll love them. They're perfect for either, but 40mm is better. There's more prop options. There are more frame options. The frames are not astronomically heavy. The 45mm setup is... I don't really get it. Like, I get it, but I don't recommend it. It's just... You've only got one good propeller. The frame is really, really heavy. The frame only allows you to run AIOs that are like cut down. So there's only a couple different AIOs that you can run. It's challenging. For what it is, when you pair it with a fresh set of the Betaflight 1102 22,000s, it's really good. But it's kind of heavy, and yeah, you're just limited on options. The biggest weakness for me is that there is no durable propeller option. Luckily, the frame is really strong, and the frame is very heavy, but because of that, the frame is very strong, so it typically isn't super rough on the propellers. But my experience with it is that the props break a lot. The HQ ultralight props are the only ones that you can really run, and they break. They break at the hub, and you're taking the walk of shame. Hopefully, you didn't just crash it on top of something, because you're not getting it back. That was the main reason that I moved this O4 Lite out of that setup. On the same day, actually, 2 batteries in a row, when it was the standard Meteor75 Pro O4 setup, 2 propellers in a row broke at the hub, and I had to take the walk of shame. Luckily, the crash happened on the ground. It didn't happen on our roof or on a neighbor's roof or in a tree or in the street where where it could have gotten run over by a car. And so, yeah, don't I have a hard time recommending any 45mm prop setup in a tiny whoop frame because of the prop options. It's also very heavy. That Meteor 75 Pro frame is super, super, super heavy. Pretty amazing for what it is, but yeah. Your other option in an 45mm prop frame is this Mobula6 O4 frame that Happy Model calls the M80 frame. But again, you're gonna have to use there's one propeller option, and it's a fragile propeller. So yeah, you kind of can't crash it hard, unless you're flying a completely recoverable location, right? Front yard, backyard, that kind of thing, park or something like that, right? Flying it in an area where when, not if, a propeller explodes, it's not a big deal. You're going to be able to recover the build. But just keep in mind, when a propeller explodes, you can't turtle mode properly. You can't take off properly. Sometimes you can kind of scoot on the ground a little bit. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes that rig is there forever. So, yeah, that's important. New stickers from Newbie Drone. Oh my God, look at this. I was expecting to see their normal sticker sheet with the wraparound guys, but yeah, totally different new sticker sheets. What are those? There's tiny little batteries on here. Will that fit? I think that'll fit on the toolbox. Hold on, check this out. Check this out. This is exciting. Ready? 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 Hold on. I think they might be too long. Hold on. Oh, hold on. They might just be exactly right. Hold on, let's see. Let's go right here. Oh my God, it's perfect. Oh, shit, son. Anybody wearing headphones, I'm so sorry. Oh. What? Why did I lose audio? Hold on. Where's the... Oh, no. You guys had audio. Why are there so many different audio sources in here? Discord? What is this? Get this out of here. Remove. My statement stands. Anyone wearing headphones, I'm so sorry. Mac OS audio capture. Is that the one that I want? Desktop. Where's desktop audio coming from? Get the hell out of here. Remove. Remove. Okay, that's better. Look at that. Right on that little pull. Drawer pull. I'm gonna put these all over the damn place. For the record, if you're ever trying to put a sticker in like an exact position, use your fine-tipped tweezers. Grab it at like a 45-degree angle like this, and then you can put stuff perfectly. You can put stickers in exactly the right spot. Oh! Another one. This is real crackerjack live stream here, is it not? I'll put the other two on later. Jesus. Yeah, the Gep RC 1002 25,000s are awesome. They are, they will bring to life your 1S 1.6 inch or 1.8 inch prop setup. CiottiFPV says, I ripped the UFO off my semi-new 2G4. Luckily, I ordered 2 more that will be here tomorrow. That's okay. Direct solder. Direct solder and antenna. It's not super hard. Antennas are a central core of a couple strands of wire. That's the signal. That's what gets direct soldered to the dead center of the UFL. So when you rip a UFL off, hopefully you didn't rip the pads completely off. But if the pads are still there, there's going to be a center pad, and then there's going to be 2 outside pads. The 2 outside pads are grounds. The center pad is signal. So take an antenna, strip it down. The central core of the antenna is the signal, and then there's a clear plastic insulating layer, and then there's a silver braid, that's the ground, and then there's the outer black silicone. And so that braid goes to the 2 grounds on the outside, and then the center goes to the center pad on there. Uriel says, we are one. I had some really great sneezes when you started the stream. Nice. Benny Bravo says, hey. Oh, man, my arm hurts like shit, too. Stop hurting. I did immunotherapy for many years in my 20s. And I got shots in either arm every single week for, like I said, many years. This is different, though. This hurts like shit. Craig says, goddamn blasts are fun, LOL. CiottiFPV says, when you do that, can you see if the newbie drone motor plug is the same as the 2G4 camera plug? It is. It is indeed. I know this for a factotum. Where is that? If we have time today, I'm going to solder a BT 3.0 up to this guy, because we're going 2S with it. Maybe I'll pull the motors off as well. Well, I need to get the flip-flop out of the Bing Bong anyway, so let's do that. Let's get the jiggity jab out of the boop boop. So here is a clear fart bag canopy with a Runcam Nano 3, which has the correct plug for Captain Wolfenstein. And let's check it. Let us snarfle the Garthog! It's just, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy in here. We're saying some truly confusing shit. Okay, so here is the plug. There it is. And then here are the motors. And as you can see, well, the better way to show it is to go butt to butt. It's not really butt to butt. Are there gold-plated connectors on this? Hold on. Do these newbie drone motors have little itty-bitty gold-plated connectors on the battery leads? That's the same thing. Look at that, though. In what world Holy hell, dude. Newbie Drone is going for it. Yeah, it's the same plug. So yeah, you've got loads of 2G4 camera connectors waiting for you in your bag, because I'm sure you've got a bunch of these tiny little... Maybe you don't. Maybe, you know, you don't know. You don't know what I got. You don't know if I got a gun or a knife. You might think you know, but you don't know. That's a quote from a movie. I don't know what movie that's from, though. So do with that as you may. I would love my nose to stop running. This is stupid, and I want to smack someone, and I feel like my brain is still like recovering too. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. I don't know who you people are. Phil Bradley says, flying at twilight today, found that the Caddx Ant is quite good in low light. A lot better than it is in the daytime. Had a butcher's, and it has 0.001 lux. Yeah, that's about the only thing the Caddx Ant does well, in my opinion, is super low light stuff. I am not impressed with it. I thought maybe it was just bad indoor, but I built that 2S 1.6-inch prop whoop with it and flew it outside a bunch compared to the CO3, and it was no good. So yeah, I'm pulling apart one of those 2S 75mm builds to do something else with it. And the one build that's going to stay is going to have the CO3. License to Drive is in the house. What's up, homie? He says, your RP4TD antenna holders are ready. Drop down in vertical 45-degree versions. We'll message you a download link before stream ends. Thank you, dude. Very cool. If you guys don't know, License to Drive's Thingiverse is legendary. And if you have not favorited him on here, you're a dum-dum. He's under Haku 3D. Here comes the link in chat. There's just such good stuff. Such cool, well thought out, well designed 3D prints. And I recently bugged him because his ELRS Immortal T mounts just barely didn't fit the Radio Master Immortal T antennas, which are like super popular right now because the Radio Master ELRS stuff is kind of the way to go. And he very kindly massaged some of his designs to work with the Radio Master stuff. Hopefully he adds these that he made for me to, or maybe makes like a new item here on his Thingiverse, because yeah, his Thingiverse is the jam. Lots of cool stuff. Check it out, friends. Get your asses over there. Bandit Drone says, thoughts on the Mobula6 2024 V3. Tiny Whoop seems to be the only place that has it. New direct solder AIO and new camera. Let's take a look. I wasn't aware of a V3. Mobula6 2024 V3 2025 edition. 130 bucks. So I don't love the frame. The Happy Model frame, it puts the motor down too far. It doesn't look like it here because the propeller is not pushed all the way down in the motor shaft. But here you go. You can see it in the back here. The ducts here sits too high on this frame, which is a shame because this frame is pretty lightweight and it's very durable. But yeah, the propeller runs really low on the frame here. and that's just no good. So I don't love the frame. The AIO is great. I think this is the best of the lightweight AIOs. The Hummingbird AIO is a close second, but the problem with the Hummingbird AIO is the OSD. It flickers in and out, which drives some people absolutely insane. So yeah, this is the best of the lightweight, like kind of cut down AIOs. This also, I think, is the best of the G-string canopies, although I'm told that the new Betaflight Air 65 V2 canopy is really good. My problem with the Air V2 canopy is still, though, that it doesn't, the camera can just rotate in there, so you have to try to get the camera perfectly lined up, and it's just I just don't like that. This Happy Model canopy uses screws, and so you screw the camera directly in here and it's level, and that's it, and there's no screwing around. This has been very durable for me, and it's very lightweight. The motors that it comes with are okay. They're not great. 702, they're a little too low of a kV. Where the hell's the kV? They used to be 26,000. I'm trying to confirm that. Looks like they're now 28,000. It's okay. Most people will be totally fine with those motors. For me, they're a little bit of a lower kV, you know, but like Tiny Whoop motors, you're going to swap out. And so, like, whatever. These motors are fine. If you swap out for another, if you swap to another Happy Model 702 or a Weebleed 702, you'll be able to use the bell from this motor, from these motors that this thing comes with. So that's actually really, really nice. What else? Looks like it comes with the Crazy Bee G473 flight controller. That's pretty cool. That's it. It's going to come with these Gemfan 1208s, which you want to throw in the river. A30, which is great. Yeah, that's it. So it comes with that G473 flight controller, which I don't really know anything about. But it's probably good. Happy Model's been making the best Tiny Whoop stuff for a while now. And so, yeah. $130 for that G473 flight controller. And oh, what's the camera? I was about to say a good canopy, a good camera. Happy Model new Nano 5 camera. Okay. Happy Model Nano 5 camera. Is that anywhere? Do we know anything about this? No. We do not. It's not this. So yeah, sort of an unknown camera. We knew about this Nano 7, but we don't know about the Nano 5. This Nano 7 looked identical to the FXT camera that the Mobula6 2024 was coming with. And I kind of like that camera. It's nice and bright. I don't know anything about the Nano 5. This does say that it's 800 TV line. In this listing here, it does say that the Nano 5 camera is 1200 TV line. TV line doesn't really matter, though. It's just nonsense. So, yeah. I don't really know anything about this, but is it maybe on here? Nano 5. Hey, oh, shit, look at that. Nano 5 camera. 1.57 grams, 1200 TV line, ultra wide, 155 field of view. There you go. There's the plug. And yeah, I'll need to get my hands on one of these to kind of test it. So there you go. It's probably great. This is probably Really, really good. I've heard good things about the AIO. The motors are fine. The frame will work. The frame is fine, but there are certainly better options. The canopy is great. Camera is in theory good. And it comes with A30. So yeah, pretty much plug and play. $130 is considerably more than the Betaflight Air stuff, but the Betaflight Air stuff, you'll sometimes only get like 30-40 batteries out of it before they die, before the AIO dies. And so I can't recommend them in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, this is realistically, this is your best bet for a bind and fly tiny whoop. Get you one. Man, I feel like crap. Cole FPV says Discord audio is probably for when you have guests. I would not recommend just deleting shit from OBS scenes. Sometimes they link stuff between scenes and changing one affects both. I've recently changed the where OBS can get audio from, and it comes from this new source on here, which is Mac OS audio capture, which works way better than the old school setups. So yeah, I'm good deleting those. It's all set. Craig says, push-ups and wheeling your arm around help distribute the lump of vaccine. Will feel better. No shit. That's a really good idea. I've been just like not doing anything because I was sore. But good call. What's been annoying is that I was actually like moving my body around and doing things up until Friday when I got these shots, and then I was like, I'm just gonna sit on the goddamn couch and do nothing. CiottiFPV says, yay, then I can take my old newbie drone motor and use the wires plug swap CO3 Nightwing build. You got it, man. Just be careful, because the wires are not going to be color coded, but you'll be fine. CiottiFPV says way too many parts. Indeed. Cole FPV says allergic to bad dogs. No, I was doing immunotherapy when my cat allergies got really bad, and I refused to get rid of. I had the best cat ever at the time, Beta the test cat. Jake FPV says on the V3, the AIO has been changed to the crazy G4. Good call. FPV says they have the new crazy GAO. Got it. Jake FPV says the camera seems to be a rebranded FXT cam. The Nano 7 was, but this Nano 5, it doesn't look like it is because different TV line, and I can just tell looking at the front of the camera that it does look a little bit different. And then Euro says, yeah, after a shot you have to move or be moved by massage. Good tip. I did not realize that. That is a good call. Brandon's Baked Beans with the comment of the live stream. Mobula6 2024 V3 2025 edition. LOL. Why not change the name to Mobula6 2025? It's a different AIO. It's a different camera. Come on. Happy model. I guess if they did that like all the vendors would have to make a new item. That is very weird, though. That is very, very weird. Yeah, that they keep adding new versions to the Mobula6 2024. Mobula6 2024 is kind of a silly name anyway. They should have done like Mobula 6.1 or like Mobula 6.2. You know what I mean? They could have done that. That would have made a lot more sense. All right, people. Let's clear the bench, bro. Let's have a bench clearing brawl. God damn it. What's the easiest thing that I can do? The easiest thing that I can do, I think, is actually dealing with this guy. So let's deal with this. Let's get this onto 2S real quick here. I'm gonna move all this shite out of the way. Yeah, I forgot that I'm gonna have to solder new plugs onto those murders. That's gonna take some time over there. So let's just dive into this real quick. First things first. So I figured out last night that this XT30 holder here, you can just jam a BT 3.0 into there and it sticks in there like amazingly well. So this is kind of perfect. And then what I want to do here is get these wires just the right length. So let's move these guys over. In Betaflight land, white is ground and blue is red or voltage. So I'm going to just move these over, and it looks like I can actually leave these wires full length if I wanted to. What would that look like? So if this was full length, that wire is going to go down like that. Yeah, that looks fine. Yep, so I'll leave these wires full length. That's totally cool. So let's pop this out of here. I was going to use a straight through BT 3.0, but this angled one is just absolutely perfect. It tucks the wires up real nice here. So we'll use this guy. Okay, so that means I just need to pull this thing apart. Since we're going 2S, I'm not going to use these little 1S battery Jim Jams anymore. Other than that, we're going to reuse a lot of this stuff. I am going to be swapping the motors. Obviously, a 1S KV motor is not going to jive with 2S. It'll be way too high. I could technically motor limit it down, but that's going to be way too much of a motor limit. So let's just pop this guy off. There's a chance that I'll end up putting this build back to 1S, especially because I've got a 1S AIO here that... Oh, wait, no. This has the... Never mind. This is for HD. Yeah, I will not be using that for... I don't know what I'm going to use that AIO for. Maybe a walk snail light build, a 1S walk snail light build. What do I have? What do I have on the walk snail 1S build? Hold on. Do I need to? I don't need to take this all the way off. I just need to. Fart. Looks like I do. Well, hold on. No. I can just pull this screw out and then slide this back part off. There we go. So this can just sort of hang out, and then these guys come off. And let's put them in the bag of baby turtle stuff. All right. And then these guys, which are sized for the 2S batteries, can go on here. So we got that going for us, which is nice. All right. And... What? Stop it. Okay. So, I am going to have to take the stack apart because... oh, you know what? I might as well change the camera out. This camera sucks a bag of donkeys. So yeah, we're gonna pull this thing all the way apart, and I'm gonna take these propellers off because this is my last set of these 2023s, and these are the props that I want to run on this thing. So yeah, I didn't even realize it, but we're gonna pull this thing all the way apart. Because we're swapping the motors out as well here. So let's get this going. Yeah, get out of there. Okay. Man, I like these 2023 props a lot. Now that I figured out how to make them fit these motors a little bit better with an M1.7 screw. Really, really slick. If you've got 1.5 millimeter motor shaft propellers that don't fit your motors well and they keep flying off and shit, let me know. I'll sell you an M1.7 by 10 screw here that tightens up the motor hole just perfectly. It tightens the hole up perfectly, my friends. It's a goddamn miracle. I guess I can leave the motors on for now. Nah. We'll pop those guys off. Fuji FPV says, how do you think about RC and power 27,000 kV with O4 light on Air 75 V2 frame? What? 27,000 kV, but what size motor? I use Betaflight 19,500, and I'm about to change to RC and power motor. Yeah, it depends on the motor's size. Although 27,000 kV, probably the only option is an 0702, and an 0702 is going to be way too small for an Air 75 frame. 0702 motors max out on 1.4 inch propellers. If you go any bigger on the propeller than that, you lose a lot of response time and they start to feel bad. Feels bad, man. So don't do that, in my opinion. For a 75 millimeter frame like that is going to require a 802 motor, at least an 802 motor, if not a 1002. My favorite motor at the moment for a 1S 1.6 inch prop setup is the Gep RC 25,000 kV 1002. That motor is unbelievably good. So I'm just using these fine-tipped tweezers to hopefully stab myself here. Let's just get this out of the way. No, I'm using them to lift up this this TPU camera mount here. There we go. Just get a little bit of movement going in this guy. I'm going to try to switch this thing over to a CO3 camera because this Foxier Pico Razor is just awful. The question's going to be, do I have a camera mount that will clear this front standoff here? I built this thing with an X12 with the camera plugs on it, and so I've had to raise the AIO up really high, and so that makes the front of the AIO kind of clash with the camera a little bit. So this setup might not really work all that well, but let's just give it a try. This is a I did ask Sub 250 to make me a CO3 camera mount, but I was hoping that I would be able to use this camera mount temporarily, but the answer is absolutely not, because the CO3 has a big square. You can kind of see the light catching it there. It's got a big square bit, and that is not gonna work here. So I'm not gonna get this back together here, but I am gonna get the work done, and then I'll just have to 3D print this other camera mount out, and then I'll be good to go. But for the time being here, let me just separate this camera from this camera mount. And come on. Never, ever, ever, if you get one of these cameras stuck in a piece of TPU, never just grab the back part and just start yanking on it, because you'll pull the camera housing right off the PCB. Make sure that like you push with the lens, or you pry from the camera mount part. Yeah, it's really easy to rip the lens itself off of the PCB on any of these cameras, so don't do that. Pry on it like this, where you're prying on the actual lens, or in this case, the part of the lens here in the front, and just get it pried out until you can pinch on the plastic bit, and that way you won't rip your camera in half. Because once you rip the PCB off the front part, sure, you can glue it back together, but it'll never be the same. It'll never be focused quite the same. It's no good. I think I might have seen a message from Sub 250. I messaged him last night. Yeah, there he goes. He says, I use the Pico Razor as it fits within the 14mm standoffs. That's what this is, isn't it? Yeah, this is the Pico Razor. I don't like this camera, though. The CO3 fits between 6... Oh. So the CO3 won't clear these standoffs? Yeah, look at that. He's right. But, I mean, that's okay. The front part of it'll clear. The front part clears the standoffs. Looks like it'll fit. Issue really is they offer 10, 15, 20mm standoffs. If you use 20mm standoff... Oh, it's height. The height is the problem. It looks like it'll just barely clear. I think I see what he's saying, but it looks like it'll just kind of get there. Hold on. Let me take a side-on picture and send it to him. Stop it! Sit in there correctly, you little jerk. So I can take a picture. What is happening? Why is this fighting me so hard? Okay, there we go. All right, let's see. All right. 2x. Okay. And... Okay, got it. We good. All is right with the work. Oh, I had the wrong camera on. Sorry, okay, cool. Wait, no, wrong button, donkey. There we go. That image, send. Looks like it'll just barely fit. No? Cool. Yeah, man, the CO3 is just so much better. It's just so good. I don't understand it. I don't understand how it's so much better than all the other analog cameras. Well, so maybe I will be... We'll see. We'll see what he says. Maybe I will be sticking with this Pico Razor. I hope not, though, because, man, it thing struggles outside. Jimmy the Cow says, forgot about the Sunday stream. Jake FPV says, never heard of using an M1.7 on a 1.5 shaft prop. Does it just push the threads into the plastic? Yep. It does the same. So these GemFan 2023S propellers, they don't, for whatever reason, if you take your fine-tipped tweezers and go into the hole and scrape around like I'm able to do on all the other propellers, it doesn't work. So that there's no way to make these props fit tighter on 1.5mm motor shafts, and the inner hole of these propellers is ever so slightly too big. So yeah, this M1.7 by 10 screw goes perfectly in here, and it digs in. And so, like, however far you screw this, you just make the prop tighter and tighter and tighter. So if the propeller is really loose on whatever the motor you're running is, you can run this screw all the way through the propeller, and it'll make it fit way, way, way tighter. I typically only thread it in a little bit because that just tightens up the bottom part of the inner hole, and that's usually perfect. But yeah, you get to pick. Screw it in a little bit, test fit it. If it's still too loose, screw it in a little bit more. It's awesome. FizzPV says, can you flip the AIO to get more room? Sorta, but then the USB port would be pushing right up in, well, not pushing into, but it would be pointing up into the top plate. So every time I wanted to plug in, I would have to take the top plate off, which is super annoying. Also, then the motor plugs and the motor wires would be going straight up, and then so they'd have to go up and then over and then down to try to clear the prop. It would just be a pain in the ass. Cole says you could have a perfect camera mount that clears the standoffs if you learned a bit of CAD. It's true, I could. Jake FPV says, is there a small enough thread to do that on 1mm shafts? Got a lot of blown out 1mm shafts. In theory, you could do it with a 1.2, an M1.2. Let's see. But on the 1mm props, I just do it with fine-tipped tweezers. Just take them into the prop hole and just scrape it around, and it works totally fine. But you pose a really good question. Let's see. It's my desk. I don't have to cover my mouth. Hold on. Let me get a M1.2 screw out here. All right, here we go. M1.2. Where's the propeller? All right, broken propeller, M1.2. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'll take a newbie drone motor. Let's see how this propeller fits on this motor. It fits kind of perfect, maybe a little bit too loose. So let's do this. I'm gonna hammer this propeller with a 0.99mm drill bit until it's too loose. The best way to remove the most material with these drill bits is to not twist them. Put the propeller straight down and pull it straight off. And if I do that a bunch here, in theory, I'll make this propeller too loose. I can feel it. That's probably too loose now. And so now, when I put it onto this motor, it's still about right. It's hard to take too much material off with the 0.99mm jib jab, but 1.2 M1.2 screw in the bottom here. Okay, it's starting to bite. Ah! Get back in there, jerk. Well, first off, it's really hard to get this screw started. So these M1.7 by 10 screws are big enough where it's like not a pain in the ass. But if I put it on the screwdriver, well, there we go. Oh, this is difficult. It's probably easier just to use your fine-tipped tweezers, if I'm honest. What if I put this down on the desk? Put this prop down on the desk, hold it flat, hold the screw flat. There we go. All right. And so M1.2 screw, threaded in a couple threads. That's about halfway. And now back it out. I have M1.2 screws on the Etsy store. All right. So we thread it in there. Let's see how that is. Yep, that absolutely works. In the same way that the M1.7 thing works. You know, M1.7, metric 1.7, into a metric 1.5mm motor shaft, the screw is 0.2 bigger, and so it pushes on the plastic and it squishes it out. M1.2 in 1mm, it does the exact same thing. So yeah, good call. I didn't think of that. That I screwed it in just a couple, maybe like 1.5 turns, maybe 2 turns, and it made this way tighter on this motor. So yeah, if you don't want to risk stabbing yourself with the sharp-tipped tweezers, yeah, you could absolutely do that. Just as a proof of concept, so I ran that screw down the bottom of this propeller. The top of this propeller is probably still too loose. Yep. So if I take these tweezers on the top of the propeller and I just spin them around here. Problem with doing this is it's really hard on the sharp tips of these tweezers. So you don't want to use your good sharp tipped tweezers for these. And then you got to have 2 pairs of tweezers sitting on your table, which is not the end of the world, but and so now I've done that. And it's a good amount more tight now. But the screw thing is actually pretty slick. I'm going to mess around with a couple of the M1.2 screws that I've got. I've got a couple different lengths, couple different, glip glops. And on the Etsy store, I will put both 1.5 and 1 millimeter prop tightening devices is what it's going to be. Those of you with RC and power motors are going to love that because they use a slightly smaller motor shaft and a lot of propellers fly off of those, and it's annoying. Good call, dude. Ugh. Benny Bravo says, thought about TBS Lucid 1 to 2S AIO and the Darwin FPV 1 to 3S AIO. Forgot the actual exact board. I'm not very hot on TBS stuff. I've not had great experiences with their stuff in the past. Darwin FPV, I would go that direction. If nothing else, then it's 1 to 3S, so it's probably going to be beefier. Uriel says, show us those glasses. These are readers from Amazon, and they've got LEDs in the corners. They're like they're +2. I don't know if they have any actual magnification unless you hold them really far away from the camera. But they I can't focus close anymore. So I use these if I don't want magnification, but realistically, I use these 90% of the time because you get 3.5x magnification. So yeah. All right. Back to build land. Here we go. Baby turtle V7. It's time. Ugh! My God, man. Nose, chill out. I'm going to leave this camera and we're just going to smash through here. Let's get these motors removed. And then we'll pull the stack up and off real quick. And then we will snarfle the Garthog! Know what I'm saying? I believe the best 2S setup for this is going to be RC and Power 1002 14,000 kV motors. I'm going to try this on... I have those motors, but they're on another build, and I don't necessarily want to take that apart. I have a set of iFlight Defender 1002 14,000 kV motors that are probably exactly the same. And so I'm going to try those. I'm not going to crash it really hard or leave it with these motors because I don't know if you can get replacements. But yeah, we're going to just try this out. At some point, this is going to get a different AIO. because this X12 with the motor plugs, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, and I hate having this AIO lifted up like this. But for the time being, just to get this thing dialed in and figure out which setup I like the best, this is totally fine, the way that it's currently put together. So, yeah, it'll be all right. I'm like 99% sure, though, with how it performed on these 1102s, that this is going to be the hot setup, if I'm totally honest. I am so shocked at how good this thing is as it sits. Like, I'm so tempted to leave it set up like this, believe it or not. But this is just such a ridiculous setup, having this AIO lifted up like this. Like, no matter what, I want to go to an AIO that has either direct soldered motors or motor plugs that go 90 degrees. And like, I could do that on this one. There are, let me show you. There are, before I forget, let me get these washers off of these front and rear jib jabs. You know, as I say this, it kind of makes me want to do this to this AIO. This an X12 in here as an analog build is kind of perfect. And there are, I do have these 90-degree motor plugs. Every once in a while, when you buy a Tiny Whoop AIO, it will come with both the straight motor plugs and these 90-degree, get off of there, these 90-degree motor plugs that have the pins coming off the side there. See that? And so I'll bet you that these will just drop right into this X12. Oh man, that's super tempting. I'm going to get a set of these out, and I think I might actually convert this X12 over, because then I don't have to go figuring out a different AIO. Like, this AIO is kind of perfect for it, and yeah, like I said, I have I have X12s. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing here. Because, although I would like to have an AIO that doesn't have a ceramic antenna, although the ceramic antenna sits pretty clear of the carbon fiber, so it's actually probably fine that it has that. I really like the X12 in here because the X12 is oversized, and so in a frame like this, that doesn't matter. The X12 does not fit into many Tiny Whoop frames, so it's kind of a pain in the ass in that respect. All right, let's just keep going here. Let's get these motors off. Come on! Oh my god! I always do these with the fine-tipped tweezers, and now I know why. Okay. Get out of there. Get! Alright. Try my best to be really careful and gentle with these motor plugs, because they don't have... They're only rated for like 5 or 10 plugs and unplugs, I think, is the spec on, like, when you look up the actual name of the plug. I think it's a JST 1.0, might be 1.25. Let me just see real quick here. Hold on. Let me just see. Let's kick the soldering iron on real fast, and put this thing in the OmniFixo, and just take a little gander here. Oh shit. I took all those BT 2.0s out and didn't put them back. Oh god, now I got all these screws stuck to the motors. All right, fresh set of these 1102s. Let's just see. Let me just have a quick exploratory solder situation. So I'm just putting a big old blob on all three of those. This is a job for spring-loaded tweezers. They sell these on eBay. They are spring-loaded. They always spring-closed. And so what you do is you clamp them on the little plug, and then you can just easily put a little bit of downward force. And so now you just come in with your soldering iron. I've put a big blob of flux on top. And so what I'm going to try to do is put the soldering iron tip in the middle of all three of these pads. And with a little bit of downward force, in theory, I can get this off pretty easily. There it is. Pops that guy right out. And now you take one of the other ones. That's a little 90-degree angle, jib jab. I'm going to put it in these guys as well. We're going to heat that joint up and try to just push it right up through there. Well, we're going to heat all three of these up. These three solder joints are so close to each other that in theory, I might be able to get this to actually work. Let's see here. Just point this down a little bit so that you guys can maybe see this a little bit better. Let me just put an angle on this. This is going to be hard to do because I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing from underneath. But we'll give it a shot. Let me lock manual focus on this real fast. Now we want this one. We want to go to manual focus. And there we go. All right, so let's see. Let's see what I can do here. So I'm just going to come up like that. I don't have room to hold this normally. All right, let's see. So all three. Yeah, see, that's tough. Well, yeah, see, so this is hard to do, man. Well, let's try this. One of the, I think the correct way of doing this is to clear these holes out. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little blob of flux there, and then we're gonna take our solder wick here, and we're gonna put our solder wick down and remove as much of the, if not all, well, you'll never be able to get all, but remove as much of this solder from these holes as possible to hopefully open the holes up. And that worked pretty well. The center hole looks like it's still clogged up though. Let's put some heat into that center hole. And then bring the solder wick back in. All right, I'm going to have to actually add. So right now what's going on is that there's lead-free solder in this center hole, and the lead-free solder can be a real son of a bitch. So we're going to add some leaded solder to hopefully mix with that lead-free solder. This is tough, man. There's a couple components right next to this. So this is kind of sketchy. Coming in here with the solder wick, I'm potentially like removing some solder from these components that are sitting right next to it. As long as I don't hit those components, I'll be fine. But like, it's really easy to kind of do that. So hopefully I don't brick this board right now. And it's tough to get, man, these are tiny little through holes. This is sketchy. All right, let me get the flux back on there. The flux makes a huge difference when doing stuff like this. So, nice big blob of flux. Let's cut this again so that we have some fresh solder braid. And let's try this one more time. Lay the solder braid over all 3 holes. And bring the heat in. Yeah, no. Those holes do not want to clear out. What's the bottom of the board look like? Let's try to remove it from the bottom. Let's do that. Hold on. This turned into way more of a thing than I thought. I thought I'd be able to just pop it right on there, but that was a silly thing to think. All right, your guys' focus is going to be all jacked up now, but let's just see. The other way to do this is just to put the soldering iron on the bottom of the pad and then get all 3 of them hot and then just ram the connector down. That is... I don't know if that's easier or harder, but we'll probably try that in a second because I don't think I'm going to be able to get these holes cleaned out. Yeah, now that solder is just not wanting to clear out of these holes. So let's try that next. Well, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's not. I think 2 of the holes just cleared out, but the third one is not cooperating. So let's see. I'm going to put the soldering iron on the bottom here. And then I'm going to try to just drop this down on there. And so let me grab this with the little spring-loaded tweezers. I'm going to grab this from the other side because my left hand is going to come over the top of the board here. All right, like that. So, yeah. Yeah, so that hand's going to just try to drop this straight down on there. All right, let's see if I can do this. So under the bottom, the tip of the soldering iron is going to come under the bottom to try to get all 3 of these pads hot. This is kind of sketchy because I'm doing that sort of blind under there. And I'm going to need to angle this up so that I can get the soldering iron down there. And so let's see here. See if I can pull this off. And like you'll see it when you start to heat that joint up, like you'll see the solder go liquid on there. Man, I would 100% not be able to do this without the 3x magnifying Jim Jam. Ooh, it is rough. Hold on. I'm gonna actually the through hole closest to me is like full blown clogged with lead free solder, and so there we go. I've added a bunch of that, and now I'm gonna come to the bottom. Yeah, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see there. So now there's enough solder in there where when I hit the bottom of the pad, I can see the solder kind of flow to the top, and so there it goes. I need to get my head into a position where I can see these pins. There it is. Almost there. Okay, so now we're down. We're not all the way through though. That's okay. That's okay, because now we can do the rest of the work from the other side of the board. But we got it started. We got it started enough. And so now let's finish it. Okay. And so there we go. All right. And so now we're going to do the work from the top here. And this is not necessarily any easier. But all I need to do is push up on this and it'll just pop right into place, right? And so let me just get a finger on it like that. Okay, so we're going to come in here with a bunch of flux on top to help the heat transfer. Okay, so now clean the tip off the soldering iron. And I'm actually going to pick up a little bit of solder on a fresh solder on the tip of the iron. I'm doing that off camera here. All right, tip of the iron has a little blob of solder. So let's hit this farthest left pad. Middle, right. Left, middle, right. Left, middle, right. Come on. I need you to go up a little bit more, connector. Come on, baby. Shit. I mean, that wasn't terrible, but as you can see, it's still hanging off the bottom. You got to be careful not to add too much solder because it can bridge the 3 pads. I came off of here because it started to get really hot, and I don't want to melt this plastic guy. So let's come in here one more time, and I'm getting this soldering iron at a really steep angle here because I want to try to heat all 3 of these up at once. That's kind of the hardest part about doing this. It's a bit of a mix, like you're trying to heat all 3 up, but you don't want them to bridge. It's kind of okay if they bridge though, because we can just break the bridge. So this thing's going up a little bit at a time, left side, right side. Woo! It's starting to get hot. That might be it. And you just want to look at it and see if the plastic, I got to bring this side up a little bit more. So I just got one more little bit to do. And should be able to get that right now. And then you got to look for solder bridges after. Okay, I think that's about it. That should be flat on there. Wow, it's getting hot quick. Jesus. Cool. And so now you want to make sure that there's no solder bridge. So the easiest way to do that is just to add some flux here. It doesn't look like there is, but it's real small. You're going to clean off the tip of your soldering iron all the way. And then you're just going to come on here and pull sort of outwards on these. So heat them up here and then pull out. Heat them up and then pull out. The solder is going to want to go towards the heat. And now you need to check the shit out of your work, because that was a lot of sort of back and forth. So it'd also probably be a good time to hit this with a multimeter. And it looks like I don't have this quite all the way up. I need to get this, I don't need to, but I want to get this pushed up just a little bit more on the one side here. So heat these two up and just push up on this. There we go. I think that's it. I think I felt it move just enough. Yeah, there we go. So we got a 90 degree, we got just one 90 degree motor plug on there now. And it doesn't look like the pins have bent. There is a chance that it's that on the bottom side of the pad it is bridged, but hopefully it isn't. Here's how you check that. Here's how you check that. So get this gripped up somewhere. You're gonna put your multimeter into the continuity mode, which is a little audio icon, a little speaker symbol. On mine here, it's over here. It's that icon there. So flip it down to that. And then the positive and the negative don't matter. You just need to touch, first of all, touch them together. That completes a circuit. Right? And so that's what you don't want. And so now you're going to go into this motor connector here. And you got to touch each individual little pin. What I can do is I'll touch a pin on top. I'll touch the far left pin on top. And then the middle pin in here. And so far left pin, middle pin, no bridge. Far right pin, no bridge. Middle pin, right, no bridge. Middle pin left, no bridge. I'm going to touch the middle pin. Yep, just to make sure that I have flow. Yep. There we go. So when I touch the other two pins, no bridge. When I touch the pin that I'm on, we get the sound. And then far left. Good to go. That's how you test for continuity. So they did not bridge underneath the connector, which is pretty awesome. Cool. And now you know how to use one more feature on your fucking multimeter. This is a X12. Some AIOs come without these motor plugs on them, and they'll just come with both the 90 degree and the straight. Eco says, I did that check on mine, beeped every single time on the plug, but it still flies just fine. If it flies fine, it's okay. What's probably happening is you're not, like the probes on the multimeter are probably like touching both of the pins or whatever. And so yeah, that's kind of the only way that would be happening. Although ESCs are a little bit weird sometimes with continuity. So it could also be that, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I'm not an electrical guy. I just work here. There we are. All right, so that's how you... I didn't think we would be doing that, but hey, that's super handy. That'll let me put this flight controller way farther down in that specific frame, which is pretty awesome. Boy, I just created a lot more work for myself. Let's pause on this, and I'm gonna dive into tearing these two 65mm rigs apart as I drag this camera off the table like a jackass. Because, yeah, I just showed you all the interesting stuff. Now I just have to do that 3 more times, which is a lot less interesting. And so, for the sake of you getting all that juicy fucking completionism, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's dive into these two fellas here and get them swapped over. Although I guess I should have done the BT 3.0 lead, but I just showed you soldering, so now we'll do something else. Let's turn this soldering iron off. All right, cool. So we're gonna take these two and make one freestyle build and one non-freestyle build. Why is this so zoomed in? What is happening with this camera over here? Hold on. That feels like really zoomed in. Is it just because of the autofocus? It's just because of the autofocus. All right. So Everything Simplified says, had to unsolder ceramic antenna from X12 to not interfere with ball sack canopy. Did I do something wrong? And is somehow it should be in specific orientation, or what's the story? Once you've removed the ceramic antenna, you're not going to be able to get it back on. But that's good because a little piece of wire is going to work better than the ceramic antenna. The ceramic antennas are pretty bad. So get yourself a little piece of wire. Best bet is that you can order them from Newbie Drone. You can order these little 2.4 specifically lengthed bits of cable. You can technically just do this with any old bit of wire. All an antenna really is a wire. But the length is really important. And so if I take this one that I bought from Newbie Drone, I think these are like 25 cents or something like that. You can look it up. You can just Google like 2.4 gigahertz antenna lengths. And you're going to go, you want like either quarter wave or fifth wave, or you can just, Jesus Christ, come on. Or you can just kind of take a look here, and I'll give you a rough measurement real quick. So like with a caliper, you're looking at, let's see. And like this kind of does have to be as exact as possible, but you're not going to be able to get it that exact. So just get it as close as you possibly can and call it a day. But in this case, we are at 32.5. So 32.5, and like there's a little bit of a bend there, but like that's pretty damn close. If you get it 32 millimeters, you're going to be in pretty good shape. 32. So 2.4 gigahertz, 32. I'm trying to think, is there like a mnemonic device that can help me remember that? But again, you can just Google it. And you'll probably get a pretty good answer. I'm actually tempted to remove this ceramic antenna, but inevitably they all break off, and so I'll just wait for that. I'll just wait for it to break off. So yeah, what am I doing here? We're gonna take, I want to leave this one black, so this frame and these motors are gonna stay, and this plug. So yeah, this guy is gonna stay here. I'm tempted to move. Nah, I don't really need range, so this ceramic antenna is fine. Is this thing going to stay completely put together? I think it is. Yes. This is going to stay completely put together. Unless I move the... I guess I could move the antenna over. Do I want to go through that much trouble or just leave it the hell alone? I'm just going to leave this alone. The ORT antenna is totally fine. I got it like glued down all nice. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this completely alone. And we're going to take this guy and revert it back to a freestyle build, which is kind of crazy. But I moved this into this setup because I was trying to figure out which... Jesus Christ. Which camera setup I kind of liked best for chasing the little RC drift cars. And the CO3 was the obvious winner. And so this is actually going to be pretty... This is going to be pretty boring right here. We're going to remove a camera, we're going to unplug a camera, and then I'm just going to swap on a different canopy. But you're going to get such an incredible sense of satisfaction here. I'm excited for you. I'm very excited for you. You're going to love this. You might not. But just tell me that you love it to make me feel better. I'm going to leave these propellers. I'm going to leave these motors. This is on the Moon Traveler 0702 32,000s from Tiny Whoop. And so UFL is kind of coming off here. That's okay. E6000 is holding on. Come on, E6000. Let go. There we go. Nice and clean. All right. And so let's get this out of here. All right. So we are going to swap this over to an ORT Micro V. Is this one of mine? It sure is. A little bit of extra shrimp wrap there. I've already moved this 2G4 over to a piece of wire instead of the ceramic antenna. This is insane. What on earth? Oh, we're good. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right, so we're gonna pop this Runcam Nano 3 out of here. And to do that, we just take this batwing mount and rotate it kind of upwards. Oh, you know what? I'm going to pull this AIO out of here because I'm going to rotate this AIO around. It's kind of backwards in here at the moment. So let's just get this. I'm actually going to use these guys because I don't want to mangle these little hooks just in case I need to use them in the future. So yeah, this is the best way to get these little bat wings off of here. On and off, actually. The hooks on these Cockroach 75 V3 frames are stronger than you'd think, but if you start cranking on them, you can screw them up. And so be as gentle as you possibly can. There we go. All right, so that's off of there. And all right, what that means is I need to unplug these motors. Let's do that real quick because we're going to take this AIO, pick it up, and spin it around. All right. Come on. Come on. Get out of there. There we go. All right, and then this is going to be the rig that we fly at the end of the stream. So let's just get this knocked out, and then we'll put this thing up in the air. And it'll be great. We'll fly it. I got the 260 mAh batteries back on the charger, so we'll fly them around. I was really hoping on swapping the motor plugs on those Hummingbirds, but we're not gonna have. I don't think we're gonna have enough time for that. It's 4:50 right now. Maybe. Let's see. Let's see how quick I can get this done. because those motors are actually going to end up in this build. Because this is the build that I'm doing to match up with that Hummingbird V4. I think that this 2G4 setup is going to weigh very similar to that Hummingbird setup. All right, so we got that. Pull this out of here. Okay, we got to unplug this camera as well because it's kind of through the frame. There we have it. Okay, and drop this guy down. I'm going to leave this little guy set up just in case I ever need to rebuild this. I'm just going to leave this ready to go. Okay. Put that over there. And cool. So we're just going to rotate this around so that those hooks are facing rearwards. Let's put these rubber grommets back on this. So this is the Happy Model 2G4 AIO. This is really the best of the Tiny Whoop AIOs if you're willing to fly something that's just a little bit heavier. It's incredibly durable. The video is incredibly clean, and it just works, man. Like, this AIO just works. Not a lot of gyro noise either. You can get it tuned up really nicely. You can buy this 2G4 over on Weebleed. Zotek was cool enough to order a whole shitload of these from Happy Model a while ago, after seeing how much I love them. And so yeah, we've got a lot of them available to us over there on that website. A little expensive, but it's going to last so much longer that the price that you pay for, I think it's $75, you're going to really get your money's worth because of how much longer it's going to last and how durable it's going to be. The Air AIOs are, $25 less, but you're going to get like 10 times as many batteries on this 2G4. And so it ends up being extremely inexpensive in that respect. Like, if you're going to fly it, right? Like, if you're building a Tiny Whoop that you're going to fly and you're going to crash, this 2G4 is going to save you a ton of money because it's going to last you so long. All right, so there we go with that. I've got a canopy ready to go with a RunCam Nano here. I didn't mean to push the AIO all the way down. I just headbutted the light there. That kind of hurt. All right, so we're going to just drop this. Shitters. Hold on. I was hoping this grommet would cooperate, but it did not, and it popped off. But that's okay. Let's put it back on. Okay. So we're going to get this guy plugged in here, and we got... Put the angle in the plug before you plug it in. It's going to help you out. And there we go. I mean, at this point, this is a full Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop assembly. And so, if you or anybody you know has been looking forward to building an Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop, we just did it. 2G4, plug the camera in. This is a RunCam Nano 3. It's going to be a little bit hard to find this camera, but I'm going to have some for sale at some point here on my Etsy store, and it is out there. You can get the Nano Hawk version of this RunCam Nano 3 on GetFPV or Race Day Quads. And so that's it. You got to pull this duct away a little bit to clear that camera plug, but once you get it pushed down, it's there's a little bit of a gap there. And that's pretty much it. We do need to get a VTX antenna going on here, but let me just put one more little twist in the camera wires here. All right, that's looking good. We're going to get this fished through the canopy. I like to put it through the center big hole here in the canopy. And then it's going to run down under the camera wires here. And we're going to plug it in and put just a tiny little bit of E6000 on there. So there's that. Snap that down. Let me make sure that that E6000 didn't get on the UFL plug. It looks okay, but let me just make totally sure. Yeah, there's like a little tiny bit of E6000 here. Let me just try to get it out of there. What about these? Are these small enough? They are not. What about these? Are these small enough? This AIO has been around and around and around and around. So like I have put E6000 on this UFL probably a dozen times by now. And so I just want to make sure that it's not starting to like build up on here and do anything weird, like getting in the way of the ground. It shouldn't be. I'm kind of being insane right now, but once the canopy goes on, I won't have access to this, so now's the time to be insane. There we go. There's a nice little glob. That's what I was trying to get. All right, cool. So now let's snap this back down. And now that UFL port looks totally clean, so I'm a little bit happier now. All right, so get that on. I'm able to really see what the hell I'm doing because I'm still wearing my nerd goggles with 3.5x magnification on them. All right, so now we got that. We're just going to take our little tiny tube of E6000 here. Right. And we're just going to put it right on the angle here. No big deal. I'm actually going to have to get a new tube of this at some point here. It's running out. All right, and you're just going to put it from the base of the AIO up onto the UFL plug. All right, cool. I do little circles like that to get it to come off of there a little bit more cleanly. All right. So now we won't worry about the UFL coming unplugged. We just want to be a little bit careful not to get that E6000 all over the place here. So I'll just move this camera wire back a little bit away from that plug. There we go. All right. And now I want to get the ELRS antenna fished up through the canopy as well. Perfect. And now I'm going to have to use a little bit of a different screw for this style canopy. You can use the screws that the canopy comes with, or I have slightly longer ones floating around here. Let's just dive back into this little case. This is good because I can get these BT 2.0s put away. So get these stuffed in here. And then it's just M1.2, just like conical M1.2 by like 6s, basically, that I've been able to hoard over the years. Do I not have any left? Oh, wait, no, they're down here. They're down here. Okay. Nope, those are the short ones. There's the slightly longer ones. Okay, cool. So yeah, they're just like a little bit longer than normal. I think they're by 6. I think it's M1.2 by 6. 3, and tell me I have one more. Tell me I have one more. I do. I do indeed. Oh, nope, that one's too long. Hey, get out of here. Oh, is it? No. Same thing. Cool. Okay, let's get these guys dropped in here. There. And there. All right. And that's it. There you go. There's an ultimate freestyle tiny whoop for you. All right, we got some questions piling up in the chat. Somebody asking which stack to get that doesn't break the bank. No such thing. Thanks to the current regime, unfortunately in control of this country, everything is absurdly expensive. So yeah, it's you know, as we told all of you, China is not going to pay for the tariffs. You're going to pay for the tariffs, and so everything is stupidly expensive. And so yeah, you kind of might as well. And I mean, the other problem is that most of these FPV shops are small businesses, and so they're getting hammered, and they can't stock a lot of stuff. So at this point, like, if you can find a stack that's in stock, just get it. Because, like, nothing's in stock and everything sucks. And so, like, your options have been just demolished. What did you say? Cinesplore, was it? Cinesplore? So a Cinesplore will take a 20 by 20 stack. I like the T-Motor. T-Motor makes a little 20 by 20 stack that has been really, really good to me. So I would say go that direction. But yeah, it's just so hard to find anything in stock at this point. If you can find something in stock, just snag it, because it's about to be out of stock. Inevitably. All right. That's looking good. We got the ORT antenna in there. We got the UFL glued down. We're all set. The moment of truth is the scale. Let's take a quick look. The Hummingbird V4 build. Oh, well, I got the wrong motors on here for the time being, but I need to replug those motors. But the Hummingbird V4 build is 18.4 grams. This guy is not going to be that heavy. It's going to be heavier. What? 19? 18.9? Why is this so heavy? What? 18.9? What, in a Sam Hill? Hold on. 18.8. 18.8 versus 18.3. Well, that's fine. Why is this so heavy? That is a little bit heavier than I would expect. I'll be damned. Okay. Well, I mean, it's built for durability. The Happy Model 2024 build with the direct soldered motors, same motors, same props, same frame, same canopy, same camera, lighter AIO, same antenna, is 17.5 grams. So this really highlights the difference between the Mobula6 2024, which is that it's lighter, but the video quality is worse, and you're not going to be able to get the tune as cranked, versus the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop on a 2G4 build, which is going to give you cleaner video. You're going to be able to tune it better, but it is a little bit heavier. These are durability builds. These are not meant to be super, super, super lightweight. These are meant to slam. And with the motors that we have available to us, they can make plenty of power. I was thinking this would be like 18.5 grams. I thought this would be exactly what this Hummingbird V4 weighs. But yeah, this canopy is heavy. It's super durable, but it is heavy. And then this frame is, it's not a heavy frame, but it's also not a light frame. So yeah, interesting. The Betaflight lava batteries will be at a little bit of a disadvantage because this build is a little bit heavier. But you know, they're apparently, like, everything I'm seeing about these new Lava V2 batteries says that they're better than any of the other batteries out there. And so they should perform better on this slightly heavier build. Let's get this into Betaflight really quick and get it up in the air. I need to get it into Betaflight because the AIO was reversed in there. So we absolutely need to reorder the motors for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Come on, Betaflight. Open. There's one piece of hair on this silicone work mat. Got it. Holy shnikes, 18.8 grams. I forgot how heavy these Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoops are. I wonder if the one that I just sent to Spider Sugar to check out was that heavy. I mean, it should have been. All right, Betaflight. Connect. Battery. Hooked up. Motors tab. Nope. Reorder motors. Wait, hold on. Cancel. First things first. Nose down, nose up. Nose up. Left, right, yaw left, yaw right. Okay, so the flight controller orientation is fine, which I don't necessarily understand how that's the case, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Reorder motors, start. Right rear, right front, left rear, left front, save. That is going to change the resources. Now we're going to go to motors, motor direction, understand the risks, wizard, start and spin. Motor 1 is correct. Motor 2 is correct. Motor 3 is correct. Motor 4 is correct. Good to go. Stop motors, close, double check it on here. Pull the master up, make sure all 4 are making thrust. Good to go. 56,000, 55,000, 52,000. Motor 3 is a little weak. 56,000. Motor 3, what's happening with you? Yeah. 52. 52. Yeah, motor 3 is a little weak. Motor 3 is motor 3 has white battery leads on it, which means that this is one of the older motors, which is probably why it's a little bit weak. Well, it could just be a C-clip rubbing issue. Hold on. There's a little piece of plastic that might be pushed up against this C-clip. Let me get it pried out of there. And then we're going to do that one more time. Come on. Hold on 1 second. God, get out of there. Okay, let's see if that's any better. That's a pretty big difference in RPM, which is why I just like slam the brakes on there real quick to figure that out. Let's take one more look. Motors, motor 2, 56,000, motor 3. No, still 52,000. So, motor 3 is a little bit less than healthy. Let me, super quick. Hold on. super, super, super quick. Let me just grab this and grab this. Wayne Hunter with a $5 super chat. He says, "Sup, man? Thank you, brother. Thank you for the support. Much appreciated." Motor 3 is what color? What color? Is it a red dot or a non-red dot? It is a non-red dot. Let me just swap it out real quick with another non-red dot. There we go. Okay. That should spin the same direction. Let me see if I can just real quick get this thing to be a little bit more healthy. Oh, these are all non-red dot motors. Yeah, let's just go for it. I'm just going to randomly pick one of these motors and swap it out ultra fast and see if we can get that extra 4,000 kV out of this thing. All right, while I'm doing this, let me try to get caught up on Chad. Stephen Corley says the issue with... Hold on. The issue with the X12s I was having fire 2 other boards not working may have been caused by the Ushering Power 14 kV motors I bought. I swapped them and the issue flipped with the board. I thought that ruled them out, but I swapped frames and motors to the Robo ones and things are good. Almost have 2 flying as if it weren't for the ceramic antenna. Interesting. Yeah. Which RC and power motors? Uriel says, it's a good tip to give. Always save the good parts of broken parts. I have a box of connectors, salvage parts. Yeah, salvage everything. Everything Simplified said had to unsolder. Oh, we talked about that one. PD Puff FPV says, I hand drill out the holes. That's one way to do it. Yep, that is a totally acceptable way of doing it. I don't have drill bits that are quite small enough, though, to do that. But yeah, that's a totally fine way of dealing with clogged through holes, is to drill them out. And it's actually very easy to drill them out because solder is super, super, super soft. Everything Simplified says, I meant orientation of X12, not ceramic antenna. I was surprised that it didn't fit originally. I'm doing my antennas with enamel wire and it works just fine. Got it. Moto NFPV says, I love it. Yukon FPV says, there was only 6 left when I ordered 2, so 4 left. What did you just order? Shit, I don't know which motor is which. I just took a motor off and I put it down on the desk, and I don't know which one is which. So I'm going to take the motor out of the little case here and see, and hopefully, well, let's do this a little bit more intelligently. Let's take a look at the windings through the holes in the bell. Okay, these windings do not look ugly. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take a chance and throw this motor on here, and hopefully the bell is straight. So these are this is one of the motors that I took off of this when I put a fresh set of these 32,000 kV motors on here. One of these motors blew up, and so I've been swapping the old motors back onto it one by one. I don't know if this bell is straight, though. So this is a bit of a chance that I'm taking, but let's just see. That. Yukon FPV says, I ordered the brushed Acro B on sale so I can convert it into the B art. Just got to print the cart out. Print the cart out? What does that mean? Oh, you got to print the, not the cart, the camera, the canopy, not cart. That's a funny Spell check, fail. Okay, there's a motor swap. Let's hook it up to Betaflight, throw the propeller onto it, and see what kind of RPM this motor will turn. Prop on. Battery hooked up. Let's see. Motors. First of all, let's make sure it's spinning the right direction. Sure is. Okay, cool. Let's fire it up. 55,000. 55,000. Amazing. Motor shaft is a little bit bent, but it's not that bad. So, cool. This thing is a little bit more healthy. Let's put it up in the air for a couple of quick 260 mAh batteries. And then we will part ways, because I got to go teach a class in about an hour. Okay. And then when I get back tonight, I will keep swapping those 90-degree motor plugs on. That'll be fun. And then I'll get to shorten up the standoffs, shorten up the little spacers, and this baby turtle will be 2S and a lot better off. Not a lot better off, but a little bit better off. Accidentally forgot to put those back in there, but that's all right. You can't even see my little... I did a little Christmas thing here, and you can't even see it. It just looks like a blob. It's 3 little reindeers. Moton FPV says, hey dude, what stack do you recommend for the Cinesplore build that won't break the bank? I got one coming next week. He also says, also the best motor since FPV cycle 3450 is out of stock. 3450? What the hell is that? 3450? That's not a Cinesplore motor. That's a lifter motor. Wait, no. That's not a motor at all. There's no motor that's 50 millimeters tall. I don't know what a 3450 is. Help me understand what that is. Basilia says, how would you handle mounting a Happy Model crown antenna with a Brawl canopy? You could just E6000 it to the canopy. I love these old school Mobula6 canopies because they have a whole bunch of holes in the back that you can run the antenna right through. Canopies that don't have provisions for an antenna, there's not a whole lot that you can do. Sometimes you can drill a hole in the canopy and then run like a little zip tie through it. But yeah, there's not like a great way. It's tough. Yeah, there's I don't have a... I myself have not been able to figure it out a lot of times. Like the Brawl canopy. The Brawl canopy doesn't really have any provisions for an antenna, so a lot of times I just leave the antennas hanging off the board like this, which is not great, but sometimes it works. It fries! Wait, I can't do that. I have to hit this button. There we go. Hey! Alright, little fella, hold on. Let me get this transmitter properly in my lap. Hey! Doesn't fly heavy. Flies totally fine. Oh, God! Get yourself up in there! No! Alright, hold on. Let me scooch myself around a little bit so that this transmitter is sitting properly in my lap. Uh-oh. Where's the dog? Why is he not supporting my... Oh my god. My tiny whoop addiction. Where is dog? Where's dog? Where's dog? Where dog is? What the hell? Is he gone? Uh-oh. No, no! Well, alright. Teddy's gone forever. Ugh! Stairs are hard. I really have no idea where he is. Oh god. What's happening? Why me? Look at this handsome devil! I got a little too much up tilt right now. Uh-oh. 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 Apparently I don't have air mode on a switch with this one. Which would make sense because I've been flying this cinematic. Oh, also I don't have the I can immediately tell that I don't have the crash recovery time shortened up. So I got a couple things I need to do for this in Betaflight. Oh shit. Just got the edge of that. What? I'm hold on. Come on now! Let me do the full desk power loop. Hook a brother up. I keep hitting the goddamn LED panels. There it is. Great. Uh-oh. How? Look at the runtime, dude. Even though it's heavy like this, look at the runtime. How did it fall inside the strap thing? How does that work? Wowee. All right. Oh, you fart. Oh boy. Oh boy, this poor battery. And that's on a 260 mAh battery. What on earth? I ran this battery way the hell down though. That was a terrible thing to do. That battery is probably effed for life now. Oh my god, 3.2 volts. Ooh, sorry little buddy. Alright, let's do one or two more. Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop. On a 260 mAh battery. What's funny is, even though this thing is a little heavy, even though this build is a little heavy, the this 260 mAh battery is like a full gram lighter. So this is flying like the Mobula6 2024. Come on, dude. Give me more than 4 fucking seconds before something jumps out in front of me. Whew. Shit. I'm flying weird right now. I'm not, like, getting the throttle all the way maxed out. Ah, stop that. What the fuck is going on, dude? Ah! Oh, really? Ugh. I tried to throw it back really far to get it all the way back into the lit cube, but didn't quite get it. Yeah, I can't get it back that far. I saw the edge and I just flew face first into it. Like, I guess it'll move for me. There's a runtime that I would expect more, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I don't know why that first battery was so long on a little tiny battery like this. That was weird. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Fly your 6 batteries, friends. I'm doing this so that you will feel bad not flying your 6 batteries today. If you fly 6 batteries a day every day, your piloting skills will just absolutely explode. And so do it, goddammit. This is the fun part of the hobby. Fly 6 a day. It'll keep the doctor and the bad flight insulting people away. Moto NFPV says Uke is referring to the 2G4, I think. Oh my god, there's only 4 left? That's insane. He had 75 not too long ago. Uke NFPV says no, it's a little go-kart conversion kit. Moto N says 3450 2003. 2003. Cinesplore Motors, you want either a 2004 or a 2104 or Bob's short 23mm motor. If you want to keep the weight down as low as possible, the 2004 and the 2104 is the way to go. You want like 3,000 to 3,500 kV. There we go. There we go. Ah! No. Fuck off. T-Motor makes a 2004 that's really good. Do 4S, don't do 6S. There's no benefit in 6S, and it's a lot harder on the ESC. For batteries, you're going to want like a 4S 1050 or maybe even bigger. Depends on how heavy of a payload you're looking to pick up. Damn it, that fucking sim rig, like, as soon as I get through, I gotta bail on it. I really try to let... Jesus, I can't get this. Oh, I got it that one time. Let me stop trying. Ah! Trying to get out from under that coffee table is really difficult. You fuck. Hey! Yeah, these 260 mAh batteries do sacrifice runtime, like, for certain. But they are super lightweight, and so they're very fun to fly. We're going to leave it there. It's probably like 5:30 already. It is indeed. Basilius says, yeah, it's a big pick. I was thinking something like threading some dental floss and a needle through the top of the canopy, back of the screw the AIO. Yeah, that'll work. Dental floss actually works really well on tiny whoops because tiny whoops are infinitely lightweight, and yeah, so that'll work. That'll work. Moto says, thanks for the wealth of info and great content. Gangly Gang rules. Thank you, dude, for hanging. There you go, friends. Hopefully I helped you out. If you have any other questions, let me know. CiottiFPV.com to support me. I do need your support. Joining my Patreon is really important. It has gone down over $300 so far this year. So if you have a couple extra dollars, or if you're already on the Patreon, and you can add $1, add $2, whatever, it makes a huge difference. I would love to keep doing this forever, but yeah, unfortunately the flying gigs are fewer and farther between, and yeah, everything is getting hammered by what's going on politically in this country. So super tough, but I'll keep doing this as long as I possibly can. So support me over on CiottiFPV in any way that you can, or here, click the thumbs up, subscribe, tell a friend, do a clip, do your favorite little clip of this live stream, maybe that like 10 seconds where I actually hit a few things in a row before crashing, post it on your local group, post it on somewhere, and yeah, let's keep hanging out together. Cool? Love you guys. CiottiFPV.com. Support me. I'll support you. See you tomorrow night. November 30th. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. That means tomorrow night's a giveaway live stream. Look at that. Perfect time to join Patreon. $5 a month tiers and up will get you entered into one or all three giveaways tomorrow night. 10 o'clock Eastern time. I'll see you then. Be good, friends. Now I want to plug this into Betaflight and do the thing. Here's some more Meteor75 O4 light flying at the lake at an Airbnb that Maggie rented. Oh, come on, computer. Don't be a dickbag. Don't. There it goes. See you tomorrow night, friends.
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy spaghetti's, fur flies, and jet wash dreams. Yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin, all tangled in place. Yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed. They zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shotty's on sticks, Teddy's on paws. Side by side, legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen, over couch scale terrain. Backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz, fuel, fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah, yo, Shotty behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle mic. They on the dog drone streets every day and night. Said whoops, hitting low, got